Hi and welcome everyone to today's company presentation with Flexion Mobile. My name is Stefan Knutsson. I'm an equity analyst here at ABG covering the company. And with me today I have the CEO Jens Lauritzson, which will give us an update on the business and the potential going forward. Hi Jens.
Hi Stefan, nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you. Last week you reported your Q4 numbers, which concluded a very strong year for Flexion as a company. Revenue growth was 158% for the fiscal year. Now you guide for 40 to 60% growth next year. What will be the main driver for this growth?
So we're given a guidance to the market 40 to 60% organic growth in the existing business. So what I mean by that is the distribution service aimed at alternative distribution channels. We haven't really included any other activities like paid user acquisition. So it's basically business as it is today, and that. I would say the main drivers for growth in the current business is, of course, the channels are growing and the portfolio growth has been great from existing titles. But we're, of course, planning to launch new strong games. Our focus is really on stronger titles with really good KPIs. So that's kind of on the new game side. And then we're also planning to add new distribution partners. There are a few new exciting channels that are popping up that we're exploring at the moment. So that's also quite exciting. And then lastly, we're adding, I wouldn't say new services, but we're refining our model slightly. We're moving into non-organic traffic with paid user acquisition. So most of the stores that we work with are focusing on attracting paying customers from Google and Apple, and they do that with various types of incentives. And we want to really leverage those investments and be on top of the opportunity for paid user acquisition. So we've just hired a senior user acquisition manager that would help us drive that initiative. So those are a few things, and then outside of the guidance to 40 to 60 is the activities we're doing in the M&A on the M&A side. So looking at the opportunity to acquire exciting companies, which allow us to expand our service offering, improve our margins, and keep growing, basically.
Okay, perfect. And if we look at break down the growth for this fiscal year that we just passed, obviously you added a couple of titles, but we also saw a huge increase in revenue per game generated to Flexion, especially on the larger games. Yeah. But you still think that there is further potential to increase that number going forward?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're just basically scratched the surface of the revenue potential for those top games. So I've looked at the latest Google and Apple revenues for the portfolio, but it's somewhere north of $1.5 billion per year, right? So we're just a tiny fraction of that at the moment. So when we add new distribution, we will take a bigger part of that. So definitely we really believe that we can continue to grow our portfolio while at the same time adding new and strong titles to diversify our portfolio and get a little bit more of a portfolio management benefit from that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that historically you're talking about maybe 10% of the Google Play revenues that you might be able to generate in the alternative Android stores. Is that number still realistic?
Yes, I think it is. It's, if anything, it's probably gone up a little bit with the addition of new stores like Huawei's App Gallery, pushing the boundaries. So I think it's hard to get exact data of the market we're in. But what we do is we try to look at the total portfolio, and we compare the performance of our titles in comparison with the Google Play, with their Google Play revenues, and then we try to see like how far away are we from 10%? Are we slightly above or below? So I think it's a good 10% still a very valid number. If anything, it may be a little bit too low.
Perfect. And then I want to go into, have you seen any change on how game developers perceive Flexion now versus say 2 years ago?
I mean, I think the fact that 2 years ago we only had a few games, and we were just really starting to push on the marketing side. Now we've announced 21 titles, I believe. We announced another title this morning. So of course the portfolio is growing, right? And it's and we're starting to see the effect of the strategic partnerships we have with the channels. We are still the biggest publisher in these channels, and also the most strategic one in terms of the variety of games we're providing to the channel. So I think definitely when a company like Samsung or Amazon or Huawei, when they start mentioning us in relation to game sourcing and their partners, then of course it helps with the credibility, and so yeah, our position is much stronger now than it was 2 years ago.
And in conjunction with the report, you also mentioned that you see maybe 5 to 8 new employees for the year. What will be the main expertise that you're looking for with those new people?
So we're investing in improved delivery capacity. If anything, I would have wanted to launch some more games. So that's an area where which we are looking to invest in. So you'll see more people coming in, maybe a little bit more senior, more experienced staff in that area. But I mean, I think the point here is that we've grown rapidly, and we kept our cost overheads very, very stable, which sets us up for a very nice year ahead in terms of our EBITDA margins and so on. So it's not 5 to 8 people is nothing in this business, clearly. But that's on the current business, and then we'll see if we manage to do any good acquisitions in the next few quarters. Then we'll of course add expertise in other areas, and also headcount, which is needed, I would say.
Perfect. And if we look at like how you actually approach the game developers, what would you say is the best way for you to sign an additional game to the portfolio? Are you mainly chasing game developers that are already in the ecosystem, or do you also approach new game developers?
No, we're targeting the top game developers, and for them the most important thing is to see. They don't really know much. Still, the case is that it's an unknown world for most developers. There is no data on the market size, the opportunity. So they'll have to take it from us basically, and go on our numbers. So we're probably the best one to provide the picture of the current state of that market and the size of the opportunity. So for us, the best way to sign new games is to show success cases. And I think the biggest titles we now in the portfolio, They're generating more than $500,000, which we announced, and it's pushing up from that level as well. So that's the most important thing for these developers, because their opportunity cost is fairly high. I mean, these guys are making $50 million a month, so they need to clearly see an opportunity for them to, even if it's not a big investment, it's still an investment that as an opportunity cost.
Perfect. And if we just take like the bird's eyes view on your business, I would say that 2019 was the year of adding promising games to the portfolio. Last year, 2020, was a year of increased distribution power with Huawei and Xiaomi. What are you most excited about now for 2021?
2021 is the year of expansion into slightly broader service offering, and to really consolidate and cement our position as the leading service provider to mobile games publishers and developers around the world. So where we now are clearly the leader in distribution services to that market, next year we will have added expertise to that offering in terms of marketing, user acquisition, and potentially other areas as well. So that's a really exciting opportunity, I would say, and we're in a very, very strong position right now to execute on that vision.
Perfect. And if we just break down that and look at what type of M&A are you looking for, and what is the most logical tool for you to acquire to strengthening the group?
Well, to start with, I think the marketing areas, the marketing aspect is key. I mean, this is what really most developers are looking to add new users to their games. The competition is really fierce in particularly in Google and Apple, but outside of those two stores, the user acquisition and increased payouts that's coming with the increased competition between the channels is something that developers should really take advantage of, and that's an area where we will focus on initially. So we've seen really good impact on influencer marketing, particularly where you have a strong value proposition for a paying customer to come and join another channel, because they will get rewarded or whatever, they get cash back on purchases, that sort of stuff. So that's an area which fits in really well with our current proposition. Beyond that, I would say it's areas of payments and data, understanding underlying data drivers better. But there are many small and really strong, profitable service providers that provide niche services to the growing publishers. But we've seen the consolidation in that market. So these growing publishers are more and more difficult to penetrate for smaller players. So by adding a service, offering a broader service range to them, they can contract with a bigger company and get all of those services through one and the same partner. That's the whole idea, Rick.
Perfect. And also on the other part, you mentioned user acquisition, and that you have strengthening the group with expertise.
Yeah.
From that, what do you see that can generate in terms of recognized revenues, but also what can it mean for Flexion in terms of gross margins long term?
So I just want to point out that we are a service provider, so we provide expertise in the area of distribution and now also user acquisition to the developers. So we're not taking the cost of the user acquisition, that's passed on and taken off so we're basically netting that off. So Flexion won't be carrying the cost of the user acquisition, we'll provide the services. So that's the first point I want to make. in terms of the growth potential, it's very difficult to say. I mean, it's early days. I think the combining our internal hires with acquisitions, that is the impact we should be looking at, and that's really a little bit too early to say how much that will impact our growth in the next 12 months.
Okay, perfect. Then I want to conclude with just, is there any other areas where you see potential, or will it be more focused on what you have told us now today?
I think generally the market is in a really exciting position right now. There's a lot of things that are happening. I think we've talked a little bit in the past about the changes to attribution with IDFA on the Apple side, which means that more of the advertising spend will come to Android, which is interesting in itself. We'll see what Google's response to that is on the privacy side, but that's a bit too early to say anything about that. Then you have the court case with Apple and Epic, which might impact the whole industry. We don't know where that's going to end up. I read yesterday that Microsoft are investing in one of our strategic partners in Korea called One Store. So what are they cooking up at the moment to get into the Android space? It's a really exciting market at the moment, and at the same time, the whole underlying growth in the mobile games industry is tremendous. So we're really in an exciting position.
Perfect, Jens. Then I would like to thank you for this little chat and welcome you back another time.
Thank you. Great speaking to you.